Hello artists, how are you today? Stephanie Aune coming to you from the banks of the Trinity River here near Willow Creek, California. Ozzy and I welcome you to the studio. We are very happy that you are here with us today. Thought I'd come say a hello real quick, haven't seen you for a while. So today I am showing you how I've made those pieces of paper that I'm using in the collages. These are textured paper with Cuttlebug. This is actually a piece of music sheet. So I did try a variety of different papers to see what held up best. And this is actually a file folder. It's one of the hanging file folders that I had from work, left over from work years and years ago. They actually held up the best. And lo and behold, it's probably some of the cheapest paper you can find. I also used manila manila files. That held up quite well also. I did try some mixed media paper. I believe that's the mixed media paper. As long as you don't saturate it too much, it does work out just fine. This one got a little oversaturated, so it's not nearly as textured. So I've done all of these off of the Cuttlebug. Super easy, guys. You know, don't make it more complicated than you have to. This is just a blue file folder. Use whatever paper you have laying around, but I would suggest to use paper that is a little bit thicker. Copy paper is probably not going to work the best, although go ahead and try it. You know, if you have some photo paper, try it, see what it does. Boy, could you imagine like Yupo paper. I wonder if you could do Yupo paper in it and then put alcohol ink on it. Might be able to do it, I don't know. The music sheets are really fragile, but I'll definitely be using that nice little tattered piece. It's so funny. Look at how beautiful that one is. So yeah, you'll see in the video here, I basically run things through the Cuttlebug. And then I go through and I use mainly spray inks, but I did use some gold Lumiere metallic paint. You can use whatever you have laying around. If you're going to use something like watercolor paint though, I think it would be a little bit too wet. So you might not want to do that. You guys are probably tired of looking at these, but I wanted to show you the final product before we get into the video. Doing this with Cuttlebug has been around forever. You know, this is nothing new. So I just wanted to show you since I've been using it out of my stash. So Cuttlebug it and paint it. It's simple. Okay guys, well thanks for tuning in and we'll talk soon. Love you. Bye. Hello artists, how are you doing? Hey, I told you guys that I would show you real quick how to make these super simple pieces of Cuttlebugged paper. As you know, I've been using them as little decorative elements. I have a lot of these. I've used them for little journal covers or little notebook covers. All it is really is painted pieces of paper. Now you can do longer pieces of paper and do one side and then come back and do the other. There. But generally we're just, you know, this I think I ran through 3 times in order to get that long of a piece. And this is just metallic paint that's on here. This is actually ink sprays. That's probably some paper bag, but you can absolutely use just regular white paper. You can use any paper, and it doesn't have to be a long, tedious process. It can be actually super quick, and you'll see that here in the demo. I have just done a bunch of these here. So this was just a piece of blue paper. It kind of looks like construction paper. It's probably, maybe it's a file folder of some sort. This is another file folder, one that would be hanging in the desk, so it's a little bit sturdier than just a manila folder. Here's the manila folders. This is the hanging folders. This is another one of the hanging folder. This is, I have office supplies. So this is paper that was used as a tab divider. Somebody was throwing them all out and I grabbed them all. So it's kind of a smoother paper, very smooth. You know, these would have hung in your desk. I also did use some mixed media paper. I used some music paper. It's a little bit thin, so it probably won't hold up once you put the paint on it. So copy paper is probably going to be too thin if you want to paint it. Now scrapbook paper would work great. You know, really, the foam did not work. That was one thing I found out. The foam sheet did not work. But you can use those with your die cuts, which I don't really die cut much, so I can't help you out with that unless I practiced it a lot more. This is a mixed media paper, so this one will probably take the paint the best, but I think these will be good here. But yeah, so I was just playing with those. I have all different types of all different brands of Cuttlebug embossing folders. That's what they are. Well, my brain isn't working yet. Okay, so this one's specifically for Cuttlebug. This is a Spellbinders, which is a range Spellbinders. It's a Tim Holtz designed by Spellbinders. Cuttlebug, Sizzix. This is Darce, which you can find these, you know, you can pay a lot of money for them, or you don't have to pay much for them at all. Like this one, I think I picked up at Tuesday Morning, which is a box store, you know, kind of an overstock box store. I think I got it for like 95 cents. There's some that I picked up at Joann Fabrics when they were on clearance. You know, most of these I did not pay more than $1 for. So if you keep your eyes open, you can find these relatively easy. Well, of course, you're not going to get the exact design that you want. So if you want to spend a couple more dollars, then spend a couple more dollars. But all of these work into the Cuttlebug. Doesn't really matter what brand it is, as long as it's an embossing folder. So here is our machine, right? Let's see, we'll make sure we're in. So you just pull it down, and when you pull it down, it makes it. It doesn't really have a suction, but it does have a little bit of a grip. So if you pull this out, there you go. You've got your handle going. Can you see the handle? I'm gonna move you. Hold on. Okay. So then you have your thingy mahobber and your 2 B plates. This is like your main plate, and then 2 B plates to use with these. I believe you use the C plate to work with die cuts, but the C plate does not come with the setup. I did not save any paper to do with this, so I'm going to just grab some music sheet here. The music sheet, since it's so thin, you can actually overlap it. It doesn't quite come out as crisp, but it doesn't hurt it at all. So you just sandwich it. B folder, B bottom one. You feed it in and you squish it. Squish. So some of these are much harder to go through and some of them are much easier. You do not need to go back over it a second time. You can if you want to. Most of the time, you don't need to. Then you pull it out And ta-da, you've got some embossed paper. And you've seen me using these little pieces of paper again, so I just thought I would show you how to do that. You don't have to glue, you don't have to do anything hard with it at all. And then to store it, you just put your latch in there. So I'm gonna go put this away, and then what I'm gonna do is clean up my desk, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to paint these real quick. You can use any type of paint on them that you want. All right, be right back. All right, since we're gonna be spraying some ink down, I have put some deli sheets down. And the reason for that is this gets very, very messy, and it's always good to protect whatever's on your desk, number one, but number two, hey, we're spraying some ink, and let's make some deli sheets. These are deli sheets, unpainted deli sheets. They have a little bit of a black surface, and they have a paper surface on the other side. It doesn't matter what side you use. I have not found one bit of difference between what side you use, between the wax side or the regular side. It just, the wax gives it a little bit more strength. All right, so I have some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. These are beautiful colors. This one's really copper. This is very silver. I also have, oh, here's another color. What color is this one? Oh, that should not be sitting over sideways. It looks like it's gold. How to find glimmer. I don't know what color that one is. I also have some Delusions shimmer sprays here. Oh, this looks like it's the, no, it's not the green. Maybe it's in blue? Midnight Fantasy. All right, we'll see if our sprayers work. I didn't stir that one up enough. So let's see, this is the mixed media paper. For the most part, all of these are mixed media paper. Let's bring in some of this copper. This is not the scientific way to do it. Oh, this is Midnight Gold. I grabbed the wrong one. Now remember, when you're spraying, guys, if you mix colors that are opposite on the color wheel, you're going to get browns, which I don't mind that in this case, but that's what will happen. All right. And there's some purple shimmer spray. I have a feeling this sprayer doesn't work. This is from Delusions. Okay, we're just going to do this, because that's what we have to do with Delusions. Or we can just take our paintbrush and brush it on, which sometimes that works better. Take our Princeton Synthetic. I'm not worried really about spilling here. So this is a Arteza mixed media paper. And it seems to be holding up pretty well to the process. It's not, I'm not having any issues with getting it to work. Now, what we could also take here is something like our, this is the Lumiere, oh, didn't realize it wasn't open. This is our Jacquard Lumiere paint. This is True Gold. So we can also just paint on it. You don't have to have special shimmer sprays. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can use paint. You could probably use watercolor. Just don't saturate it too much unless you're using watercolor paper, or a water resistant paper like a mixed media paper should work. Then you can also kind of mix these colors together. So it doesn't just have to be sprayed. Any water-soluble product you can mix together, it'll be just fine. This is gorgeous. I definitely want to make some more with this. Okay guys, well these are mostly dry, not all of them are all the way dry, but I'm just taking some permanent ink. Probably don't need permanent ink, but if they're to get wet again, the permanent ink will be better because then it won't move. So wet would be like when you put Mod Podge over the top of it. Now this is all water soluble ink, so you do have to watch out for that because it can really, once you get it on your Mod Podge, you know, you just kind of have to be careful of it. Getting onto whatever images you're using or whatever. So probably, oh, that's cool. Pretty. It's not necessary to do this step. You still do get the texture without it. And as you can see, it's coming off on my ink pad, which will probably ruin this ink pad forever. Which makes me feel like I should be using a different color with it. See this one, so this is the mixed media paper from Arteza. It didn't really hold up the indent. Well, this one might have gotten wetter. So the wetter you get it, the less it's going to hold the embossing. So what you can also do here from this point is you could take Mod Podge. Make sure you've got a dry brush, not a wet brush. You don't want to spread a ton of water on this. So you could also set them like this, but well, that one definitely had more blue on it. I didn't realize it had the blue on it. So this will set the ink, so then you don't have to worry about it. It will also give it a glossier finish, and it does change the color. This is that real dusty blue that we have from wherever the place was. Tattered Angels. Now it's picking up the other color of ink, and then I'm putting that color over the green. I'm okay with that, but just to know, you know, that if you don't want it cross-contaminated, don't make it cross-contaminated. The file folder actually worked really, really well. I think that paper held up the best. These are all file folders. Now this one is the mixed media paper, and it has held up. So I think it just depends on how wet you get it when you spray it. But it's much flimsier. So, you know, copy paper I wouldn't suggest using. Scrapbook paper would probably work. But it's going to depend on what type of scrapbook paper it is. Probably the double-sided stuff would be stronger than just the single-page stuff. Lightweight cardstock would work great with that. So these are really beautiful, and you can do a ton with them. I mean, how cool of a tag would that one be? This one I painted on both sides. And that's just an awesome piece of paper. These shimmer sprays are great. So have fun with it. Don't expect anything. I made a ton at a time, even though I didn't need to. This one has just a light spray on it. Look how cool that turned out. I dig that a lot. That's beautiful. That one's just a solid. This is just with the paint. That's the Lumiere paint. So you can easily use acrylic paint with this. Hopefully you guys are in screen here. That's really pretty. And you can use different color inks to highlight. It does not have to just be brown. Wow. So yeah, it doesn't, that's the mixed media paper. That one worked perfectly. You just can't get it too wet. I think that goes for any paper that you use. Yeah. All right, there you go, guys. That is some really beautiful paper. This is enough to last a year easily. I still have some left from last year. I love some of these colors.